Welcome people to a new segment on my channel. This one's called Never Forget, and on here I want to talk about older games that I really love. Sounds riveting, I know, but wait, there's a twist. I don't want to talk about just any of my favorite games, but those that I feel have something remarkable about them. Something done so well that it makes them stand out, and that has since rarely if at all been done by other games. And the segment is called Never Forget because even if they are now outdated, I feel like what has been achieved in these games should always be remembered and experienced as a testimony to innovative game design. Now, with that introduction out of the way, let's get on with the first episode about one of my all-time favorite games and what is probably the single-player game I have played through the most times. Jedi Knight 2: Jedi Outcast. Jedi Outcast is the third in a series of 4 games, otherwise known as the Jedi Knight series. We got Star Wars Dark Forces from 1995, Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2 from 1998, then Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast from 2002, and finally Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy from 2004. In Jedi Outcast, you once again assume the role of Kyle Katarn, now mercenary and former Jedi Knight, who after the events of the previous game decided he's done with all the troubles of the Force and wants to live a normal life again. And with normal, he apparently means being hired to spy on secret Imperial weapons projects, because that's the first mission of the game. When he arrives there with his lover Janos, however, he realizes the dealings of the Jedi won't leave him be, as they discover factories where the Imperium is mining and utilizing minerals that are used in the construction of lightsabers. And then things complicate further when a Sith with the name Dizan appears, who is apparently involved in the project. Since Kyle has forsaken his former Jedi powers, Jan is killed and Kyle outmatched. So off you go to recover the ways of the Force and have your revenge. Now remember that on this segment I want to talk about games that I not only love, but that have something special about them, and I can tell you in 3 words what is special about Jedi Outcast. Motherfucking lightsaber combat. It's funny, from the bazillion guns and gadgets you get, the Jedi Knight series always felt like it was primarily designed to be a shooter. In fact, the first game was only a first-person shooter, but in Jedi Outcast, the moment you get your lightsaber, you do not want to use anything else, and it doesn't even matter that every enemy has a projectile weapon and outranges you. Oh, a stormtrooper with a rocket launcher? Dude, I'ma force push your shit in. And what's that, people hiding in swamps to shoot at me? I'm gonna wade through every one of these and slice you in half. Combat in Jedi Outcast is goddamn amazing due to the sheer speed and fluidity of it all, and the moment you unlock your lightsaber, Kyle Katarn becomes a beast. That thing does a truckload of damage on everything, and even when you don't attack you are immune to gunfire, because you can reflect almost every projectile in the game. The sword can be swung into 8 different directions and be followed up with another attack also into every direction, and since you swing the sword into the direction you're walking currently, your arm and leg work meshes together perfectly. In addition, you get 3 different sword styles, light, medium and heavy, a myriad of powerful force abilities that get stronger throughout the game, and an insane amount of different enemy types ranging from pull cannon fodder stormtroopers to Sith apprentices that will tear you a new one in seconds. And on top of it all comes what is probably my favorite effect in video gaming history, a slow motion camera spin when you kill a powerful enemy. You have no idea how mind-blowing this camera spin out of nowhere was on my original playthrough. The first duel you have with an enemy Sith is one of the most iconic moments of this game, but almost everyone I talked to told me that when they defeated him for the first time and saw the camera spin, they didn't even want to play on. They wanted to reload and replay the same fight over and over just because of how amazing that effect is. You might think the spin gets old after a while, but believe me, I have played this game for 13 years and it never did. So there you have it. This is the one reason why Jedi Knight 2 stands out. It is the perfect Jedi simulator. You don't become absurdly powerful like in Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2, but you become an entity almost unstoppable by normal soldiers, to the point where it's unbelievably fun to play. Even in its own series, Jedi Outcast has never been bested. I mean, Dark Forces 1 didn't have a lightsaber, and Dark Forces 2 just doesn't have that level of polish and animations. Jedi Academy kinda did, but it had too many filler missions and the story was god-awful. Not that the story in Jedi Outcast is an amazing roller coaster of emotions, but it's simple and it's effective. A simple tale of good versus evil. Nothing more, nothing less. But let's not get overzealous here. Jedi Outcast isn't perfect. In fact, there's only one game that I'd actually consider to be perfect, and you know, I might just feature it in another episode of Never Forget, even though it's not that old, but I digress. The one huge problem that I think turns off a lot of new players is the fact that it just takes too long to get your lightsaber. There are 2 major levels you have to go through before Kyle reactivates his Jedi powers and travels to the Academy to pick up a sword. And it's not like these are bad levels, mind you, they're just long. And really complicated. The complexity of the level design in this game in general is ridiculous, by the way, and I actually think when shooters with really complex levels are discussed, this game is often overlooked. But none of this changes the fact that the people who want to replay this game probably want to replay it for the lightsaber, and the people who want to try out this game probably want to try it out because they heard of the lightsaber, and the levels before you get it being so long and difficult just gets in the way of that motivation. Let's not forget that in this game's sequel, Jedi Academy, you start out with a lightsaber from the get-go, and I'm pretty sure what I just discussed is the reason why. And then, when you finally got your lightsaber and your powers and you're ready to get up close to everyone who dares shoot a projectile your way, the first level the game sends you to is Nar Shaddaa. A giant city full of insurmountable pits, impossible to reach walkways, and stories of snipers that will disintegrate you from the other side of the map the moment you leave cover. Believe me, there's no experience more humbling than being pumped with adrenaline from having just taken out an entire bar filled with enemies, just to step out into the open streets and be immediately shot at from 3 different directions at once. Again, like with most levels in Jedi Outcast, from a design perspective, Nar Shaddaa is actually insanely good, but it gives the wrong incentive at the wrong time, and I fully understand if people get incredibly frustrated with the first levels of this game. But believe me, once you get past that barrier, once you reach Bespin, the city in the clouds, Jedi Outcast will take a turn at Amazement Avenue. When you're having your first lightsaber duels and when suddenly the huge area design starts working for the game because you get to creatively use all your Jedi powers to unlock the way forward. This is when Jedi Knight 2 shines the brightest. The lightsaber combat, the level design, the force powers, and all those authentic Star Wars aesthetics, including well-known characters from the films, the original soundtrack and sound effects, everything will blend together into the perfect Jedi simulator, and without a doubt one of the best Star Wars games that have been created thus far. If you haven't played it yet, give this game a chance. Get past the first levels and I will swear to you, you will have the time of your lives. BoukenJima signing out.